You say that you think he probably died at exactly the right time. Why do you say that?
Uh, well, he still had contemporaries who were living, and his children were showing signs of prosperity. I mean, imagine he had two sons who were Harvard PhDs.
Well, neither of us are PhDs.
Well, that's true, but you're super graduates.
All right.
And I think that was a matter of satisfaction to him.
I'm sure it was.
Well, it certainly was. And he wanted to live a professor's life, and so he did. And he had adventures, you know. He had a war where he didn't have to fire a gun, which I'm sure he could not have hit anything he was aiming at. His vision was very bad, and he was not interested in shooting people. But he thought he was on the right side. And looking back, I see that he had a methodology in dealing with me. He didn't want me to become Jewish blindly. And so, step by step, he introduced me to the social life that was traditional. And very carefully concealed his life in the South from me. And the only time I went into the South with him was when I had long-term friends who lived there. And he was not interested in me meeting Miss Eleanor or any of those people who were part of his graduate experience. And I thought that was pretty foxy of him, as it turned out.
Why?
Hmm?
Why?
Because it was dangerous, and he knew it was going to become dangerous for him. And he damn near got killed. It was very close. He was being followed by a guy who was cussing him out, and I think intended to harm him. And he was out walking, being followed by this guy, and he stopped at a house where there was a local leader who was not a slave owner, although elected by slave owners. And they got him out of town in a police car and took him to the Capitol, where he cleared his name.
But nobody had slaves at that time.
Hmm?
This was long after the Civil War.
It's still there. The South won the Civil War
Why do you say that?
because they didn't change the life of Negroes, and they did what they could to prevent him having equal protection of the law. And it's just beginning 100 years later for some education, some fair play, but there's still plenty of it around. So that's why I say the Civil War killed a lot of people. Oh, there was some little bug there. Anyway, he admired people in Boston, the culture in Boston, which has changed a good deal since he died. And he did what he could for the cause of women, the equality of women. When he had the opportunity, he saw to it that they got into the positions that would have been ordinarily occupied by men
At the university.
at the university. And he understood the times he was in. And he saw to it that you boys had some experiences that would raise your social level. And I think that happened, although it was a struggle in both cases. I mean, you saw the value of education, but you had tried the other first. So I think he was quiet about it and not popular. No social graces, but he understood the world he was living in, and somehow he managed not to get killed until he met cancer, and that did a very thorough job.
Unfortunately.
Anyway, he changed classes in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was from a very poor family who very selected to be, had people who were educated, but they had to earn a living, and that had to come first. So sometimes I cringed at his lack of social graces, but he was a very decent person and knew quite a bit about the world he happened to be living in. Not the imaginary world that so many think they're living in. The ones who are running our country, for instance. Anyway, I think we had a pretty good life together.
I'm thankful.
Well, I think he raised two very fine boys.
I love you, Mom.
I love you too. But he was a solid person. Right?
Absolutely.
Not perfect.
But dependable.
Oh, very dependable.